Okay, so I decided to do my presentation on dieting and health in Japan. I chose this topic because it seemed very interesting to me. So I chose dieting. What I found some facts about Japan versus the United States. I found it interesting that Japanese McDonald's size large drink is smaller than the American McDonald's size large. I also found it interesting that in Japan, the rate amongst adults for overweight is 3.5%, but here in the US, it's 30% of adults who are overweight. Um, in the US, it's okay to eat and snack or eat and walk at the same time, but in Japan, that's kind of frowned upon, so there's less snacking time because a lot of people walk if they live in the city or if they live in a smaller rural area. The distance is too long for them to really snack. I also found it interesting that convenience stores in Japan have better health options than here in the US. Here in the US, if you go to 7-Eleven, you'll find everything is either highly processed, packaged, or if the food that is available to buy cooked is highly processed with a lot of calorie intake and fat intake. But in Japan, they have spam musubi, sushi, various healthy options that to the Japanese may not seem so healthy, but compared to convenience store foods here in the US, they are a much better alternative. So, what is the regular Japanese diet? So, a lot of their diet consists of rice, vegetables, and fish, not so much red meats. Their portions are very small compared to Americans. Americans have huge portions, not only compared to the United States, not only compared to the Japanese, but also compared to the rest of the world. They also consume less wheat products, which has gluten, which does make you bloated. It varies from person to person, but instead they consume rice. Like I said, they do consume less red meats. That's because there is no room on the islands for cattle to roam and graze. But fish is very accessible and high in omega-3 fats, which is better for you anyway. And also, there's more vegetable meals consumed than here in the US. Here in the US, vegetables are kind of seen like a health kick, not more so as a regular diet supplement. I also found it interesting that lactic acids in meals helps the digestive system. So in Japan, you can find them in soy sauce, natto, miso, fermented fish, and kimchi. There was a study done that showed that lactic acid actually helps feed the good bacteria inside your digestive tract, which in the long run gives you a better digestive system, which means you'll be able to process foods much better and get rid of the toxins much easier. So it makes you less bloated overall. And then here are some examples of the food. So miso soup, fermented fish, and fermented soybeans or natto. So the weight loss methods. So in Japan, they have a method called harahuchi bunme, which are the bunme system, much known to other people who are non-Japanese speakers. So basically, the system is just to eat until you're 80% full. So meaning you are full, but you could still consume a little bit more. You're not completely full, but you are satisfied. So the idea is to eat till you're satisfied, not till you're actually full. This system is good to lose weight. It can lead to weight loss depending on your own digestive system. Sometimes, if you do reduce caloric intake, you will start to hoard fat, so it might not help you lose weight. It'll just be water weight loss that you lose. But overall, the system seems to work for people in Japan. I did see that people who use the Bunme system, in order to lose weight, instead of being 80% full, they'll just lower the rate to maybe a 70% or maybe even 60%, but that's really pushing it. Part of the system also requires you to reduce the intake of rice and supplement with more vegetables. Avoid eating at restaurants, which could have higher sodium content to the broths. So you have to avoid salty broths and fatty broths. Another part of the system is also to cook with perilla oil. It comes from perilla seeds, which is a leaf. They use the seeds to make the oil, and this oil is good for you because it has omega-3 fats, which are also found in fish. They help you digest your system better, and also they help you feel full faster and longer. Um, a study done in 2000, I believe, by the Pub Medical Research Program, they found that perula oil is actually good for inflammatory diseases such as asthma. They found that after 4 weeks of conducting this research on asthma patients, the asthma patients did have a better breathing capability within their lungs. But perula oil can be dangerous for pregnant and breastfeeding moms because it does have an anticoagulant effect on the blood. So this could be dangerous to either the mom or the baby. Another method to lose weight in Japan, which is very popular, is to use weight loss supplements. Um, you can pretty much find weight loss supplement pills and drinks and powders anywhere, like convenience stores, supermarkets. You buy them online. They're pretty much everywhere. That's because everyone wants to lose weight. So here's some images. On the far bottom right, that is the perilla seeds, and that's perilla oil. On top of that is the Bunme system, which is eat until you're 80% full. And on the left side is an example of how to lower your carbohydrate intake and increase your vegetable intake in order to lose weight. And here are some examples of Japanese weight loss supplements. There are a lot, but these are the most common ones that I found. And so, why is health and weight so important to Japanese people? We as Americans already think that Japanese people are very thin, but they themselves see room for growth or improvement, I would say. So being overweight can be shameful. That's because a sign of being overweight is that you can't control yourself. You don't have the discipline it takes to control how much you eat or to exercise or to really take care of yourself. Also, it's important to not only the people but the government for their citizens to be healthy because the government and companies are the primary sources of health insurance for Japanese people. And so by having people who are overweight on these insurances, it causes a strain on the healthcare system and it increases prices for the health insurances, which is then pushed on to the companies themselves. So in 2008, there was a law that was pushed, and this law basically fines employers whose employees don't meet the requirements. So the requirements are that men's waistlines should not be more than 33.5 inches and 35.4 for women. If they do exceed the waistline maximum, then the company is fined. And the fines are not necessarily pushed onto the employees, just the employers, aka the company, because the idea is again that because their employees are leading unhealthy lifestyles, they tend to get sick more often and visit the doctor more frequently and use insurance more, which again increases the cost for the insurance, and that's passed down onto the employee. And here are some examples of measuring people's waist. I didn't find an actual image of an employee being measured by an employer, but we again do see that employees are encouraged to lose weight. It's not mandatory, but they are encouraged to. They do have health exercise programs in the mornings for Japanese workers or after lunch. It's just an incentive to lead a healthy lifestyle and get your body moving. If you're sitting at a desk, it's good to get that blood flow. Also, it encourages self esteem amongst the employees. And then some Japanese tips and tricks on how to maintain your weight or how to lose weight. These I found directly from videos that were conducted in Japan asking regular Japanese women how they lose weight or how they maintain their weight. A lot of them surprisingly said that they skip dinner or eat smaller dinners like salads. The skipping dinner really surprised me because I found that pretty sad. They just said that if they're hungry, they'll just go to sleep. Other people said that walking around is a good exercise, jogging, riding the bike, just staying healthy and active is really important to them. And if they did want to lose weight, they said that they would reduce their rice intake by half and increase their intake of vegetables. They did say to avoid fatty broths or don't drink salty broths because that can make you bloat and retain more water weight. And here are some examples of running, biking, staying active within cities, reducing rice intake, and just avoiding meals. Like I said, going to sleep hungry in order to lose weight. And that's my presentation.